Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Today's video is my autumn makeup favorites video. I'm so excited that we're getting into this time of year. I'm pretty sure this video is gonna get uploaded on the first day of autumn and I'm just so excited. This is my season. This is the time I thrive and I'm so pumped. This is the best time of year, hands down. Pretty much from now till the end of the year, I am at my happiest and I'm just so excited to be doing this video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of makeup that gives me the fall feels and I'm just really pumped. These are products that I'm going to strive to reach for a lot this season. I say it in every seasonal favorites video, but I'm not necessarily seasonal with my makeup. Like just because it's autumn doesn't mean I'm not gonna wear a hot pink smoky eye at some point. I very well might, and I rock a black lip in the middle of spring. I kind of wear whatever I want whenever I want, but I can't deny that there are some things that I am more drawn to at certain times of year. So that's why I like doing these videos, and I specifically like doing this video. I love autumn tones so much. It's just the best. I just love grungy makeup and this is the time where grungy makeup thrives. Before we hop into it, I did of course film this look. I film every look you guys see on camera. It should already be up on my Instagram and my TikTok by the time this video goes up. My earrings today are from Spooky Doodle Club. This necklace I believe is from Shop Sun & Co. And this hat is from Foxblood Shop. So yeah, without further ado, let's just move forward, talk about makeup. Of course, I'll have everything linked down below and I'll also have any discount codes and things like that. So if you are curious, stick around, hang out, let's chat about some of my favorite autumnal makeup favorites. Okay, so kicking it off, I'm just gonna go right ahead and talk about blush because I don't really have like specific foundation, concealer, powder favorites for the season. I'm just gonna get into color products. I have two blush palettes, so I thought maybe I would start with that. First is gonna be my Juvias Place Saharan 2 blush palette. I've been reaching for this a lot the last couple weeks. I'm wearing it today. I'm wearing the brown tone shade here, but I think this is such a cute fall blush palette. I like the purpley tone, the orange, the brown. This shade of pink also goes really well with a lot of these autumn tones that I really like. I really enjoy it. There's two shimmery shades as well. This one can work as a highlight on me. This one's a little bit too deep, so I use it as more of a blush topper when I'm feeling spicy. But mostly this time of year, I'm kind of reaching for these three shades right here. It's such a good palette. I've loved this for years. So yeah, had to make it in this video. And of course, this one is no surprise. I love this one every time this season rolls around. Well, I love this always, but especially now. This is the Likely Makeup Clown Blush palette. This is amazing. This is a fall lover's dream. The yellow blush is so cool. It definitely has a time and a place. I don't want to wear yellow blush every day personally, but with specific looks, it thrives. It is so good. This orange is so beautiful. I love a pumpkin-y orange cheek this time of year. It's so delicious. The red is super cool. I don't reach for this pink too often. I'm just not a huge fan of that shade of pink on my cheeks, but everything else is glorious. I love this, and this also makes wonderful eyeshadows as well. I have two powder single blushes to talk about, and then I have some creams. These are the two singles I want to chat about today. They're both from Colourpop. This first one is called Trippin'. It is beautiful. One of my favorite blushes of all time in my collection. I just love this warm, cozy, chocolatey brown moment. It is so gorgeous. If you're a ghost like me, you gotta go in with a little bit of a lighter hand, but it's just so toasty and lovely and it looks so pretty, especially with these grungy vibes that I'm going for. I like the sheen that it has. It's such a killer blush. And this other one is called Outta Sight. It's more of a burnt orange shade and it's very, very pretty. Definitely leans a little more on the neutral side with like a touch of burnt orange, and it goes so beautifully with a lot of the looks that I'm wanting to do right now. It's right here. It also has a really pretty sheen to it. It has a little bit of like a gold sparkliness, and I really like a glowy, shimmery blush. It might not be for you, but it is for me. And it's just so good. And this is gonna go so well with a lot of the things that I'm wanting to do this season. All right, let's chat cream blushes because I have three singles and one duo. First is the Color Wash from Kailav, formerly known as Musee Beauty. They recently had a rebrand, so now they are Kailav. This one is in the shade Exuberance and Soft. Tell me this isn't perfect for this time of year. This rich apple cranberry shade and this pumpkin-y burnt orange. Be Still My Heart, this is gorgeous. I love their cream blush formula. I find it to be very easy to blend out and it's pretty pigmented, but it blends really nicely. And I do love me a pigmented blush. Just look how gorgeous. Oh, it's like a fall harvest in a blush duo. It's so good. And I actually kind of forgot about this one until I was looking for makeup products to use for this video. And then I remembered it's a fairly newer one. It came out only a few months ago, and I'm so pumped to use this. I'm literally gonna put it in my drawer with me right now so I can use it ASAP. Next, I have an e.l.f. Putty Blush I wanna talk about. This is in the shade Maldives. It's so beautiful. A very rich, deep cranberry color. Oh my goodness. Again, if you're a ghost like me, you gotta use a little bit of a lighter hand, but these blend so nicely. I like that it has kind of that rich mahogany brown with a little bit of that red burgundy. It's such a good combination. It's so cozy and pretty. I'm probably gonna be riding this shade all through winter. I love a deep pigmented blush, especially when used in light amounts. If it's super pigmented, it can look so cozy. I feel like cozy is the weirdest word to describe blush, but that's the best I got, and I love it so much. And next I have two of the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Liquid Blushes. First, I'm gonna talk about the shade Love. This was actually a subscriber gift for my birthday a few months ago. And I definitely loved it right away, but I knew I was gonna really love it this time of year. It's just the prettiest kind of, again, kind of like a rusty burnt orange shade. It's so good, and these are also incredibly pigmented. And it can also be a little finicky to blend these out. I wouldn't recommend like dotting it on both cheeks and then going in, because the first cheek will probably be already mostly dried down. Definitely work one cheek at a time. I prefer to use a beauty sponge with these actually. I'll just kind of dab some of the product directly on the sponge and then go in with the sponge. But you can dot it on your cheeks first. You just have to work a little bit fast if you want it to blend out nicely. And the other one is in the shade Faith. The brand actually sent me this one directly. I love it, and I know I'm gonna really love it this time of year. It's just such a cute purple berry. Look at this combination of blush colors. That's so cute. It literally looks like an autumnal harvesty feast on my fist. I'm so excited about using these. Again, I do use different things all year round, but I knew specifically I was gonna love these this time of year, and I'm just so pumped that it's this time of year. I could cry, I'm so excited. Okay, so this next part is gonna be shocking because we're actually gonna skip highlight. I usually talk about highlight in every single seasonal favorites video. It's just, I'm not gravitating towards any specific type or color of highlight right now. I'm kind of just down to use anything and everything. Right now I'm using an eyeshadow from the eyeshadow palette that I used on my eyes today. I feel like I'm mostly gravitating towards just like more translucent-y things or more white things, just things that kind of go with everything. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk about anything specific. I did very recently do my top 10 favorite highlights video. So if you're curious about what I'm like really into the most, I would say check that video out because that's probably what I'm gonna be reaching for the most. But yeah, I don't have any specific favorites for this time of year. I almost wanted to talk about Laser Glazer from Kaleidos again because I always use that this time of year specifically. It's the prettiest sparkly green highlight on the planet, but they don't make it anymore. And I always talk about it, and then I always make you sad, and then I'm sad too because it doesn't exist. So I'm not gonna talk about that one anymore. But in the back of my mind, it's still one of my favorites. Oh, I do, I guess, technically have kind of a complexion thing to talk about. This is my Apocalyptic Beauty Pumpkin Spice Setting Spray. Apocalyptic Beauty has so many cool festive setting sprays. I went through my candy corn one last year and part of this one, and I just kind of saved it for this year. It just smells so nice and refreshing, and my makeup sinks into my skin really nicely. I really like these. If you're not looking for some fragrance for your setting spray, you probably wouldn't like these, but I think they're fun and festive and cute. So yeah, I wanted to talk about the Pumpkin Spice Spray. All right, so I guess now we can talk about eyeshadow palettes, and then we'll get into some individual like eye products and then a lot of lips. I narrowed it down to 15 eyeshadow palettes, which is a lot, but I could not narrow it down any further because eyeshadow is my favorite and grungy autumnal eyeshadow is my favorite, so we have 15 to talk about. I guess we can first just start with the one that I'm currently wearing. This is from Geologie Cosmetics. They sent this to me recently. This is the Pilbara palette. I've already done a get ready with me with this and this Instagram video. It's so pretty. This is a pricey palette. I'm pretty sure it's like 70 something dollars, which is definitely out of my budget personally. I'm so grateful the brand sent this to me, but I know that's not in my budget, but it might be in your budget, so I wanted to mention this just in case. I'm quite enjoying this so far. I think the shimmers are quite lovely and the mattes blend really pretty, and this is just such a fall dream. Like, we have the really pretty kind of burnt burgundy and orangey shades, this beautiful dingy yellow and the olive green. The shimmers are very pretty. It's very much a good palette for this time of year, so I did want to talk about it today. and give it a quick little shout out because it's very cute and I'm very impressed with the formula. Let's move on to something more affordable though, shall we? I have two from Colourpop to talk about. First is gonna be the Big Poppy palette, which ordinarily, this is not my favorite palette to use because orange eyeshadow just isn't my favorite to play with, but this time of year, I like looking like a pumpkin. The Big Poppy palette is perfect for that. And I do think this is like an actual really pretty palette. It's not too orange in my opinion. It's very much like warm, burnt, rusty pumpkin-y oranges with some just plain neutrals. It's very pretty. It's all matte. So if you wanted just like a nice, basic, warm, toasty fall palette, this might be a good one to look at. It's very cute and it performs very nicely. If you want to look like a pumpkin like me, pull out some orange eyeshadow. This one, I'm not positive if it's available or not. I'm pretty sure it is. Hopefully it is. If not, maybe it'll inspire you to pull it out of your collection if you already own it or find things that are similar. But I wanted to talk about the Star Wars Colourpop palette, the Child palette. I just think this is really cute for this time of year specifically. I like those grungy olive greens. We have this really nice, warm, deep, rich, almost just chocolatey shade. I really like these whites and silvers. I think it just plays really nicely and I think this will give you some nice autumnal feels as well, but with like a different kind of twist than just like pumpkin orange. But next, diving right head first into the autumnal feels, I have to talk about the Ace Beaute Classical Paradise palette. It's been one of my favorite palettes in my collection for a very long time and I'm just head over heels in love with this palette. It is a fall story slammed into a palette. We have nice, deep, rich cranberry reds. We have the pumpkin orange. We have the yellow and the olivey green. Lots of pretty shades in here to work with. I love playing with this palette. And Ace Beaute did recently reformulate their older palettes, including this one. I personally never had any qualms with their old formula. It's one of my favorites. But I will say their newer formula in the Nostalgia palette was really nice as well. So if you were hesitant to try their palettes because you heard hit or miss reviews, maybe you'd want to try them now that they have updated their formula. I love this palette. I think it's delicious and beautiful in all things autumn. Such a good one. Moving on to Melt Cosmetics, I have two to talk about. The first one unfortunately isn't in stock right now, but I have heard talks that they're working on a restock and that it's not discontinued, even though there were rumors that it was. So hopefully it restocks soon, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it. And also maybe it'll inspire you to pull it out of your collection if you already own it. This is the Melt Cosmetics Gemini palette. This was a subscriber gift years ago, and I am still so head over heels in love with it. I recently put this in my top 10 favorites video. If you missed my top 10 eyeshadow palettes video, it's so good. It's honestly been in my favorites for years. This was my first time ever trying Melt and I love it. Again, grungy deliciousness. I love these rich, warm, brown, toasty shades all the way into these lovely, delicious olive greens. This black is one of my favorite blacks in my collection. It is such a good palette, and I feel like if this does come back in stock and you're looking for like a nice staple grungy tone palette, this would be a good one to look at in my personal opinion. I've personally yet to find a Melt Cosmetics palette that I don't like. I don't have any issues with the formula, and you will see that with this next one that I'm going to talk about, the 420 palette. This was actually also recently a subscriber gift, and I'm so touched. I love this. There were a lot of hit or miss reviews on this palette, and I was planning on buying it for myself around this time this year once there was a sale, but I got it as a gift. I got beat to it, and I'm so incredibly grateful. I love this. I think it performs very nicely. I think it performs just like all my other Melt palettes. I really don't know what to say. Everyone's gonna have different preferences. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. It's just, it works for me, and I like that it works for me because I love this color story. I love these bright, dingy greens, the rich purple. This blue is also delicious. I like that it has kind of that muted jewel-toned aspect. I like the browns and the bright yellow. It is all good things, and I'm just so happy that I have this in my possession, and I'm happy that I love the formula because I was nervous, but then when I tried the Millennial Pinks and that ended up working out for me, I had a feeling maybe all of them would work out for me, and so far that seems to be the case. Moving on, let's talk about a beautiful neutral palette, one of my favorites in my whole collection. This is the Black Moon Cosmetics Orb of Light palette. This is probably one of the oldest palettes that I own, actually. It looks like this. It's another all matte palette. We just have a nice range of neutrals. We have the black, we have the light kind of peachy transition shades that I don't really use. Honestly, these two shades mean nothing to me, but we also have like a nice richer brown and a cool tone brown, and then the beautiful yellow, orange, red. Every time I play with this palette, my makeup turns out beautiful. I don't know what it is. These mattes blend like a dream, and I feel like it's just a really good, solid, staple, unconventional neutral palette because it has those little pops of color, but they're so rusty and kind of grungy that it makes them more on the neutral realm in my eye. This might be really colorful for someone else, but for me, this is like an unconventional neutral palette, and I haven't played with this in a while, and I really want to play with it soon, so that's why I threw it in this video to kind of re-inspire myself, and it's just so cute. Next up, I have a fun double-sided palette to talk about. This is the Odin's Eye Saga Afraea palette. It has two parts to it. So we have like one part here, and then we have one part right here as well. This first part I like for this season because it has kind of those richer cranberry tones, and I feel like with Thanksgiving and all that stuff, you could do like a cranberry sauce kind of look, something a little more glamorous. I'm usually in my pajamas all day on Thanksgiving, just stuffing my face with food, alone with my cats and husband, and it's a glorious day, but maybe you want to wear a glam cranberry sauce inspired look. And then this side, the second I got this, I already deemed this as my cute Harvest Pumpkin Patch palette because we have those really nice neutrals, but then we have the pop of orange and the pop of green, and it reminds me of a pumpkin with the stem on it, and it's a lot of fun, and I feel like this is just kind of a more colorful, slightly different take on like autumnal feels with this palette, so that's why I wanted to throw that in here. Next up on the list, this has been a long-term fall favorite. This is my Shroud Cosmetics Divinity palette. It's so cute, and Shroud Shop is back up and running. My palette will be restocking at some point soon, hopefully soon. We will announce it when we know for sure. She just wants to make sure she has enough stock prepared for the next restock. It'll continue restocking as long as there is a demand. This is what I wanted to talk about today. This is limited edition, but it is still in stock currently as of this moment that I'm filming this. I love this one, especially this time of year. I mean, all of these, it's especially this time of year. But we have the nice kind of burgundy, and then the nice navy blue with the swampy green and the mustard yellow, and then the orangey shade. That purple is so beautiful. I love this palette. It's one of my favorites, and I just had to talk about it again for this season. I don't know how I switched from one side to the other. I'm just flowing and moving and chatting and moving my hands around. Let's go back to this side. I like this side better. This is my Give Me Glow Cosmetics Juicy Olive palette. I figured I just had to throw this beautiful olive green monochromatic color story in this video. This was also a subscriber gift, and it's just so cute. I've had this for years, and I've loved it for years. The mattes blend like butter. They're so pigmented. It's one of my favorite formulas. The shimmers are so impactful and metallic. I love this little guy, and I want to play with it again soon, so that's why I wanted to bring it to my own attention again. Ooh, next up, this is one of my favorite palettes I've tried this year, which was also a subscriber gift. I'm so incredibly thankful. I don't want anyone to feel pressured to ever send me anything, but just know how appreciative I am. I love this one so much. This is my Lethal Cosmetics After Dark palette. I got gifted this around Christmas time last year, and I just love it. It's so perfect for this time of year. We have those rich, deep, grungy, delicious shades. We have the beautiful metallics. I love this combination. Again, it's kind of those autumnal grungy feels, but with different kinds of pops of color to make it a little bit more unique. I just live for this. I have actually already filmed with this for my first Halloween look that I've already gotten going. I've already started that planning and all that good stuff, so stay tuned. I will have a video playing with this very soon. Next up, I wanted to bust out an oldie but a goodie. This is the Juvias Place Tribe palette. It's been quite a long time since I've played with this, and I really want to bust it out again. This one's really hard to show on camera because it's so reflective. Forgive me. We just have those beautiful pops of neon, but I really like that it's pops of like yellow, orange, green, very like bright, fun, pumpkin kind of shades. We again have these grungy, like greenish, brownish tone. That shade is so good. And then this really nice deep teal. The shimmers are so pretty. I really like this kind of burnt orange gold flip, and then this has the prettiest kind of almost limey reflect to it. This is such a good palette, and again, I feel like kind of a little bit of a twist on a fall color story. It's really, really fun and pretty. Ooh, we got 3 more to go. Next up is my Nomad Cosmetics America's Parks palette. They came out with this summer, but I feel like it's very fall. I love it. There are so many grungy jewel tones in here. It's very earthy. I really like the pop of purple and then like the red and orange. There are so many cool things you could do with this. I feel like this is again kind of like a more colorful take on like an autumnal story, and I just love it. The shimmers in particular are so glitzy and so beautiful. Side note, I'm so excited for their newest palette. As of the moment that I'm filming this, they haven't revealed it yet, but they've started hinting at it, and I am so pumped. I'm already obsessed with what they've shown, and I can't wait to see more. Next up, I wanted to talk about one of my current favorite palettes in my whole collection. This is my Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. I'm so happy I treated myself to this because it's beautiful. And again, kind of playing on that like fall color story, but with pops of color. I like these swampy greens and then the rich reds. These orange, yellow, brown moment down here is very cute. You can add in the pops of blue. It's so gorgeous. I did a very fun Halloween-y look already with this actually. I did a nice kind of bright orange kind of feel with some green. It was a good time. I love this palette. It's not in stock currently as of the moment that I'm filming this, but they did mention that they are working on a restock, so I'm hoping that will happen soon. And I'm also hoping they bring back the Book of Magic palette because I skipped it last year and I'm still kicking myself. And finally, last but not least, this is my Alter Ego Artemis palette, and again, it's kind of that grungy fall color story with the pops of color. It's a lot of fun. I love playing this one. It's a very shimmer heavy palette, so keep that in mind. I do like me some shimmers, but I wish there were more mattes. And the mattes in here are more of like a cream to matte formula. They're not like wet, but they have more of a creamy texture. Very buildable, very beginner friendly. I feel like they don't ever get quite as dark as the pan leads, so keep that in mind. I mostly love this palette for the shimmers. The mattes are nice, and I do feel like they are great for beginners because you can't really overdo it, but I did just want to mention this is mostly for the shimmers. I just love them. They're so delicious and beautiful and rich and lovely and all things good, and I wanted to just give this palette a quick shout out because it's been a really fun one to play with. All right, those were eyeshadow palettes. I feel like someone is going to say something about me skipping some like spooky themed palettes, and that's because I think I want to do a video very soon where I talk specifically about spooky related eyeshadow palettes, things that have more of a horror theme or just a spooky theme or something of that nature. So that's why I didn't include that in this video, especially because if I included all those as well, my gosh, this probably would have been like 25 eyeshadow palettes or something insane. So just stay tuned. I'm gonna be talking about spooky eyeshadow palettes in the near future, hopefully. Let's talk about individual eye products really quick, and then we will get into some lips. I have 3 Colourpop Super Shock shadows to talk about that I thought would be very fitting for this time of year. This one is from the Colourpop Tinkerbell collection. It's called Never Grow Up, and it's so pretty. It is just such a rich plum shade with all these different reflects of like gold and stuff like that, and I just feel like it's really pretty for this time of year. I feel like it reflects kind of toasted looking. It's so cute. This next one is called Free Reign from the Wild Child collection. It's again just such a rich shade. It's like a beautiful, delicious, oh my gosh, it's like a sparkly chocolate, and it's so good. Oh my goodness, just look how rich and metallic that is. I love it, and I just felt like a nice chocolatey, warm, toasty shade would be really fitting for this time of year. Another cozy shade, if you will. I feel like anytime I see just like a really pretty, rich, warm, dark brown, I want to call it cozy. Maybe it's because it looks like a teddy bear, who knows? And this last one is called Moonwalk. It's so pretty. It's kind of like a browny color with like a limey flip to it. It's so good. Ooh, yes. Oh, I really like all 3 of these together. That's really cute. It's kind of like the changing of the leaves. That's very pretty. Oh, I like it a lot. I'm getting such a dent in this one, actually. I've used it quite a few times. I also have a loose eyeshadow from Sugarpill I wanted to talk about. This is in the shade Brick Toast. I feel like I talk about this every fall. It's just really pretty. I'm actually getting kind of low on this. So it's kind of like a really pretty burnt red color. I don't know if that makes sense, but it has a really pretty golden flip to it and lots of multicolored sparkles. So again, I feel like this is a little bit more of an unconventional autumn kind of tone because it has kind of that warm browny brick red, but then like there's different colors in it. It's really pretty. It's like a colorful, cozy tone. I feel like my adjectives are on point today. I also have a liquid shadow to talk about. This one's from e.l.f. called Dirty Martini. It's so good. It is such a beautiful olive green. Oh, look at that. It looks like my lips except shiny. It's so pretty. I really like e.l.f.'s liquid shadows. They've lasted a really long time for me as well. I've had, I think, this one for close to a year, and it's still very wet and in its prime. They last nicely on me, and they're so affordable, so yeah, just wanted to shout out Dirty Martini. And last that I can't swatch is my Apocalyptic Beauty All Hallows Eve glitter. Again, I think I talk about this every autumn. It's just such a cute chunky glitter. It has different tones of orange and yellow, different shaped sizes of glitters, and little black and orange bats. It's so cute. And again, I might have already filmed using this for a Halloween look, so just stay tuned. So I normally do talk about eye pencils, but I feel like I always just talk about the same ones every season anyways. I like the NYX Faux Blacks line, so if you want something specific, I would say look at that, because there's like a dark red, a dark green, a dark purple, like all the things that you would need. So I'm not gonna talk too much about it in this video, especially because I am still gonna wear like so many different eye pencils. So if you need some recommendations, I would say go to the NYX Faux Blacks eye pencil line. And now let's talk about lip products. There is gonna be some crossover in this and in my top 10 liquid lips video, because that video is pretty much just a autumnal grungy color story, but some of these are different. I do only have liquid lips to talk about. I am of course still gonna wear glosses with sparkle in them that are mostly clear and neutral lips, but I wanted to mostly focus on like my autumnal pops of color, bold kind of lips. And liquid lipsticks are just what I mostly wear when I want things like that, so let's get into it. First is the Kaleidos Lip Clay in the shade Mahogany. The new Apple collection has some really promising shades for this season as well, but I don't currently have it as of this moment. They did send it to me and it's on its way, but I don't have it at this second. But I will say I love that formula, and now they're gonna be sold individually, so if you're curious about a specific shade, maybe it'll be there now. But this one's Mahogany. It's just such a beautiful chocolate brown. It's so delicious. It's very much like a velvety kind of texture, and then you really don't feel it too much on the lips in my opinion. It's so lightweight, but it's so opaque, and you can kind of rub your lips together and it still stays looking really good. I love this formula. Next from KVD Beauty, this is the shade Plath. I did talk about this in my top 10 favorites. It's just such a pretty kind of grungy, rusty burnt red color. It's so good. I live for it. Another kind of burnt red kind of shade. This is from Dose of Colors. It's in the shade Brick. It's so cute. It's right there at the bottom. So it has a little bit more depth than the Plath one. Plath is a little bit more of a brown red. This one's more of a red, like a brick red. I mean, it's called brick. I hope it looks like a brick. But yeah, some really cute, bold, reddish choices. Also from Dose of Colors, I had to talk about Cork. It's my #1 favorite, and especially this time of year, because it's just the prettiest kind of grungy brown right here at the bottom. I'm trying to like save some space because we have 6 more to go through. It's really cute. I did already order another one of these because I'm getting dangerously low. It's such a beautiful shade for like all the colors that I want to wear right now. Like I could probably wear only this for the next couple months and I'd be fine. I won't do that, but I could do that. Next up from Sugarpill, this is the shade Teacher's Pet. This is a bright, fun orange with gold sparkles through it. And it's so cute. And again, I may have already filmed a Halloween look with this lipstick. It's so cute. I've actually already worn this a couple times, just kind of getting early inspired for Halloween. I've been into Halloween since August. My house has been decorated for a while. My house is also spooky year round. But yeah, this time of year, I'm already vibing with this shade so hard. It's so cute. Next up from Melt Cosmetics, I have the shade Ginger. And I did talk about this in my top 10 as well. It's just a really pretty warm brown. It's kind of like Cork, but a little bit darker and a little bit more orangey brown. It's very, very cute. I love these liquid lipsticks. They make my lips look very nice. I don't know how to explain it. They always follow the curvature really nicely and look really smooth. I love it so much. And the last 4 are all from Black Moon Cosmetics. Who saw that coming? Probably all of you. Let's talk about the 2 that I did already talk about in my top 10, and then the other 2 I did not. So first is the shade Cider. It's such a beautiful mustard yellow. I was so tempted to wear it today, but I was worried like the yellowy on the eyes and the yellowy in my shirt. It would have been just a little too yellow, but Cider is so good. Just look at that. Such a cool mustard yellow. I feel like it truly looks very neutral on the lips, even though it's yellow. It's like such a fun, muted shade, and I just love it. And I get a lot of compliments when I wear it as well. And next is Hazel. It's what I'm wearing today. It's what I opted for. I wanted kind of this reddish, yellowy, grungy eye with the Papa green lip, and I'm all about it. And again, I feel like it almost plays like a neutral. I mean, I'm obviously wearing green lipstick, but it's just so muted and grungy and toned down that it just works. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, maybe you at home are sitting here watching me hating my lipstick right now, but I think it's so fun and so cool, especially for this time of year. Next is the shade Harvest, and you can pick up those two and this one all in a bundle. I think it's called the Harvest Trio. If you were curious about all three of these, I would recommend it. This one is very fun. It's kind of like just a brighter orangey red. It's very cute. More red than Teacher's Pet from Sugarpill, but still in kind of that orangey red realm. I think it's a lot of fun, and these three together are very cute. So if you're into those shades, I'd recommend looking at that trio to save a little bit of money. And finally, the last one is Purgatory, a beautiful purple lip. It's so dark and vampy and so delicious right here. Oh, the four of those together, such a good quad of colors. I almost talked about Sleepwalker, but one, Sleepwalker has apparently been out of stock for like a year. That's what a couple of you told me. And also I feel like it's a given that I want to wear black lip this time of year. To me, that's a neutral. But yeah, these are my like pop a color, bold color choices for this video. So yeah, these are my autumn makeup picks for this season. I'm gonna strive really hard to use a lot of these. I'm gonna be uploading so many videos on YouTube and Instagram in the month of October, so I'm gonna be trying really hard to incorporate a lot of those palettes. Stay tuned, especially on Instagram, because Instagram is a lot easier of a place for me to just throw in older palettes, just because unfortunately with YouTube, new always does better. So I usually do have to like prioritize newer stuff, but I do try to slip in older stuff here and there, usually in my like full face videos or things where I'm mixing and matching different things for like a Halloween specific look. I'm gonna be having a mix of both, so just stay tuned. I would love to know what product you think you're gonna be loving for the autumn season. What are your favorites? Do you love any of these as well as much as I do? I would love to chat about it down below. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me an emoji relating to autumn, whatever that means to you. And if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me on my socials. You can join the BATTYBEAN fam. I post every single day on Instagram, and I'm pretty active on TikTok and Twitter as well. And you can also subscribe if you're interested in seeing more of my videos. I post most days here as well, usually 4 to 6 days a week, and I'll be posting quite a lot in October. Potentially every day. Hint, hint. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.